Welcome, everybody. This is Filming in Progress. I'm your host, Jarrell Washington, with my lovely guest today. Introduce yourself, please.
I am Raven Reed.
And Raven, what do you do?
I act, sing, dance, choreograph,
All of it, the above.
all the above. Sometimes I'm funny, occasionally. Throw a
Oh my.
comedian in there.
So me and Raven went to school together. We went to Missouri Western, and she was actually my first. So not my first actress, but my thesis film. She was my main lead. So was my friend Ronald.
Yes.
And the chemistry was like, actually, the short was, I look back on Amor Bassier now, 7 years, 8 years later, whatever it is, and I'm just like, I could have did so many different things to this
but that's
whole
how
thing.
everything is. Like, in the moment, you're like, yes. And you look back and you're like,
Oh,
shit.
God.
Like, I could have done this
Could have
differently.
done so many things differently. And what was funny is, like, you say you just followed Charles. Like, Charles is always like, he's still in his head about the first time being on that set because he had spilt the wine, the fake
Oh my
wine or
God,
something like
I
that on
remember
you.
that.
And he was like, bro, I'm about to get kicked off the set right now.
He was so scared.
so scared.
So
It's
scared.
So
And
gentle lamb.
it was and I've been on film sets for a while because my dad did a lot of film stuff in Kansas City growing up. So in high school I was doing film stuff. So like working on that thesis, it wasn't like one of my first ones, but I
Right.
was like a lead. So I was like, this is a whole lot of fun. And then that scene happened and I was like, I can't remember who looked at me, but they were like, this is the moment where we're going to know if you are the diva actress or if you are the empath actress. And I stood there and it was just like dripping down me. And I
Dripping.
was like, I'm okay. I was like, can we call cut?
Oh my. So
I'm gonna go clean it. And I remember they were like scrubbing me down in the bathroom and I was just like drenched.
Oh, Mandy and
Yes.
oh God.
I can't remember
Oh
who
my
else it
God.
was, but it was Mandy for sure. And she was like trying to clean everything and she was like, we gotta hurry and do the other take. And I was like, oh yeah, I have to act after this. Like, I still have to pull my shit together. It's fine.
Bro, that was a wild one.
It was so
That was a
funny.
wild one.
I just remember Ronald sitting there cracking up, and he's like,
The whole time.
Ray, like, what are you gonna do?
He was just like Ron, and Ron came home, came back from St. Louis to be in that for me.
Yeah.
So that was even more important. Was that like he came back for that specifically, and that he was. Goddamn, we were all on one. Like Steve Carell loaned us his house for a few days,
Yeah.
and we just were in and out of that motherfucker. But like, I think still like to this day, the I would say the kiss was probably still like my favorite scene. I think Larry filmed that scene because I had 5 DPs on that.
Yeah.
There was a different camera guy. It seems like every day we shot, there was someone new introducing yourself to. Tom Gavin, I think E did it.
Yeah.
Larry, Lucas Cohen, and Curtis started it off. So yeah, I have 5 DPs, and they're all credited in the credits too, which is amazing. They all fit in one little slot.
Yeah.
So wait, so I want to know what was your defining? I know that's probably like I'm backtracking a little bit,
Okay.
but when was that moment that you turned into a performer? Not just acting, not just singing. See, I was trying to figure out how to ask you this question because I was like,
Yeah.
not everybody just starts off acting or singing. Like you become a performer just in general.
So I started out as a dancer before anything. So I was a competitive dancer. And I did a group number that was a hip hop. And I remember them just saying like, you have it. Like you can't teach the performance side of you that you have. And I remember my dance coach pulled me aside and she was like, have you thought about like acting? Like, do you sing too? Like what? Because like you just naturally, like when you walk into a room, you have that thing. And like on stage, you have that thing.
Yeah.
And I remember that year too, I got my first dance solo, like in the middle of the dance number where like everyone just stopped and I did my own thing in the very front. And I was like, oh shit, I love this. Like when I'm on stage and people are watching me, I like feed off that shit.
Oh,
Like
hell yeah.
on a set, I love the environment. Like I'm one of those people, I try and just talk to everyone no matter who you are. I want to be upbeat and positive.
Right.
But I think it's just that year really gave me confidence enough to know like I feel more comfortable on stage than I do anywhere else. Like I didn't, like not to pour me, I didn't have a lot of friends in high school or like even growing up. It just wasn't my thing.
None of us creatives did.
No, like I hung out with the teachers. Like I did. I was just, they called me an old soul. I didn't really connect with the cliquey stuff going on in high school. I mean,
Right.
even in college, you know, like we went together.
God. Yes.
Yeah,
There was
like
a
I
whole-
just,
We could talk about that for days.
we were really good. But I was so comfortable in my own little creative world. And I think I have this moment where, and I think a lot of creatives, it's like, who really am I? And so with acting or dancing or anything else, I get to be a different person every day.
Every day.
Like every day. You can one day play a 20-year-old who is in high school, and the next day I'm playing a 26-year-old that's like in an abusive relationship. And the
Right.
next day it's like there are so many different avenues that you can go into. So it's like your own little escape while still having to put yourself into a character. So it's like you get to cope through a different person. So you are coping, but you're not having to do it through yourself.
Yep. There
You know what I
it is.
mean?
There
So,
it is. That's what the
it's-
therapy's for.
That's what I'm
guys.
saying. Yeah, acting's really therapy. They don't tell you that, but that's where it really comes into
It's
play.
just a full-on therapy session with yourself and some other
It
stranger.
really is. You sit down with a script and they're like, okay, let's do character development. And they're like reading into it. It's like, well, how do you relate to this character? And it's like, oh shit. Like, don't do that to me.
And see,
like,
I don't think I-
don't.
as like the smaller things that I have directed, I don't think I ever even asked. Even when directing that, I noticed I was more of a technical director and never like truly like asked your guys' opinion on like character development or like where are the characters at in this moment or in this sense of time. I was just like, they're going through a bad breakup. This is
You
this
said-
is
Yes,
this
I
is what-
remember
this
on
is what
that
it
set too.
is.
And like I remember you said your favorite scene was the kiss scene. And I think that was like the main scene where you were like, for the first time, because you like were finally comfortable, not finally comfortable, but you were more like, whatever happens, happens. Like
Exactly,
y'all,
yeah.
like
I was
you
at that
finally
point.
gave us trust enough to like, you know your characters, you know what you're doing, you know your lines, go for it.
go for
and
it.
me and Ron were like,
yeah, boy.
okay.
And,
like,
and Raven still, and shout out to Ron because Raven still said that was the best kiss she's ever gotten. So boys, like y'all should step up y'all game because my girl out here,
on set, that was crazy.
and Ron's gay too. Ron's openly gay, and my man's out here macking on girls
Shocked.
better than y'all.
Shocked.
Super
I
shocked.
was like, I looked at him like, there's no way.
There's
you're
no way.
straight. Like, you are questioning or something's going on.
Raven was about to taste the blackberry
Oh,
juice that
no,
night.
no.
Hey, no, it is different going through different characters each and every single time. Do you feel so? Where do you feel most comfortable at, on stage or on set? Because I know those are two different stages. They're both a
So
stage, but
different.
two different stages.
I think that's tough. I think it's a different level that you have to bring of yourself. So like on set, you know that if you mess up, you get not a redo, but in a way for film, you can try so many different things too. Because
Right.
like one line, you can say 500 different ways and it'll cause different reactions from your counterpart and like even the rest of the people on set. And that could even sometimes change the director's opinion like, wait, okay, so the scene could go this direction instead actually. Like I like where this is going. But on stage, it's very much like you practice a certain way so many times because like you can't mess up.
Right.
Like there's room for certain things, but you have to know what you're doing because you can't break character. Like once you're there is a live audience.
500 people
Yes.
watching you.
And
What are you
there's-
gonna do?
There was one time I remember on stage, it was me and I think, who was it? I think it was Antonio. Yes, I had a scene with Antonio. Love Antonio. I miss you.
Love you, Antonio.
But I said a line a different way than I had. It was Godspell.
Oh,
It was
I
Godspell
think I remember
because
this.
I was the
I was on
youngest
crew
in the
for this.
cast. I was the youngest in the cast. I was the only freshman. Everyone else was a junior, senior, upperclassman.
Mm-hmm.
And T was like, "You're the baby, and you're gonna play the fun, innocent one. Like I just want you to be
I
innocent."
remember you
And
played
I
that
remember I
angelic
had
character.
yes, yeah. And then there was a scene where I had to pout. I remember I had to get mad at Jesus. And I remember I said a certain line a certain way. And I was like, it's not fair. And I had never said it like that. I don't know what happened. I don't know. And I remember Antonio was just like, like he couldn't. And everyone on stage was kind of like we all started laughing during a
Oh,
performance. I remember.
God.
And I was like, fuck, what did I just do? Like, it's good because the audience is laughing too. We got a good reaction, but I was like, ah, shit, I really took that and ran, like, didn't I?
Oh my gosh.
So it's hard because it's intense on stage because
Right.
it's a different kind of pressure. But I love film.
I know you
I
talk
love
about
film.
wanting to be on camera so much, and like I can see that passion in you, especially like we haven't even really worked together since college.
Yeah, no, we haven't.
Like we've talked about it. There's been lots of talks
Yeah.
about it because we keep planning these projects, and then like
We did go to LA together.
Yeah, we went to LA together.
did.
That was
That was a good time.
that was actually a really good time. Like no matter like how the end of that trip went, like I had a blast going with you guys, and I'm glad that it came down to like 3 people instead of like 10 people because like the
Yeah.
logistics of all that at first, especially where we were staying and all that, was like, oh my god, like this would not work with like
No.
9 or 10 people. Like you got to
No.
be well coordinated to work with 9 or 10 people.
Yeah.
Like I need to only come out here with like some.
And when I first was signing up for it, I was the only female 2 out of 10.
yeah,
And so
you were
I
the
was
only
like, it was
female.
just in a way intimidating. Not like, oh, I'm so scared. Because
'Cause
like
I
you
even-
guys were like boys. Like you were my boys. But I was
Exactly.
like, oh my
And I was trying to do
God.
my best at like making her feel comfortable. Like, hey, y'all, Raven is the only girl, and I was trying so hard to get more females to come too. Because it's like, hey,
I mean, I
who
was
want-
too, but it's hard to find like,
It's hard to find dedicated people.
yes.
That's what it came down to.
Yes,
And I'm
and-
not, and to the shout out to the people who couldn't go, because I'm not saying that those people weren't dedicated. A lot of things came up in
Yeah.
certain times, and
Unexpected.
a lot of unexpected things from a lot of everybody. So, but for like me and JJ and Raven to go, it's not that everyone else was like not committed. It was just I felt the drive from
yeah,
both
it was
of you.
definitely different.
Like I know you needed to go because you were like, I just need to go experience that.
Yeah.
I need to just feel that. And JJ was in the same boat. He's like, I need to experience LA too.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
first. I've been
Because
out there.
LA's its own breed.
It's complete.
its own breed. And I remember I took a 2 to 3 week vacation. I was in Texas first.
Right.
And that's
then
when
you
I
met
was,
us.
yeah. And I went to go audition for a couple of things in Texas, and then I met up with you guys in LA. And even like Texas is really big for film, which is great. LA too, obviously.
Right.
But even like the diversity in
Oh,
those
God,
two
so
I was
different.
like, and I fit all of that into 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I was like, I went one place, and of course, like my accent like came out, and I like, and then I showed up to LA, and I was like, hey y'all,
She has.
like it was
She had to
so.
put that white girl on
It
real
was so bad,
Real
and then like
quick.
as soon as you get to LA, it's like so different. And I can honestly say, like, I would never, if I had enough money, I would love to live in LA. But like I felt so like it's just a different atmosphere
different
there.
vibe.
Like people there want to do something.
Oh yeah,
Like
at all times.
they're there to
You felt the urgency around
Yes.
You felt the energy around everybody, no matter
everywhere
where we went.
No matter like the beach, even if we went to the beach, people there were like,
That last day, the second to last day that we were there, when we went to the pier that one night, just to like hang out real quick and
Oh
come
my
back, like there was
God.
still just so much energy going on at all
yes.
times.
And all the
no,
people lined up on the pier, just like
oh,
everything, like
God,
the music
the pier was gorgeous. Like, and that was my first time experiencing Santa Monica Pier as an adult. I
yeah,
only got to experience it as a kid, and even before a kid, like really just like a toddler. I never really truly got to like walk the pier by myself, stand on the
Yeah,
edge,
take
and
it all in.
take it all in, and all
Yeah.
that. So that was fun. And when we went back to when me and E went to San Diego, we went to LA for a day. We went to the pier. Did we go? We went to the pier, right? I'm pretty because Craig took pictures at the pier. We went towards the end of the night, and it was just like still it was sort of dead, but sort of like you still had like the violinist playing violin. He's still
Yes.
going ham.
the
You had this-
electric
the
violinist.
electric violinist. You got
yes.
these people who are still on these food booths, and they're still going ham.
Yes.
There's nobody around, but
No.
they are still like, "You want one? You want one?" I'm just like,
Me and who?
me and
But
who?
yes.
But I'll take one. Like, you're gonna upcharge me because you
Yeah.
can't sell more than what one just right now. But no, LA is such a different beast, and I definitely can't wait to go back. And after like hearing so many friends start moving there, like
Yeah.
there's been 3 people specifically that I know of personally that have moved from KC to LA now,
Yeah.
which I guess is nice because when you go out there, you have people to stay with, you have connections and
Yeah,
whatnot.
for sure.
That is good. But when we went to San Diego, bro, I kid you not, San Diego was so much nicer.
Really?
I didn't want to say nicer, but like that was the only word that could come out of my mouth was nicer.
Because LA's a little dirty.
LA is a little dirty.
It's
Let's
a
like
little
I'm gonna
dirty.
be real with you. LA is a little
Like
dirty.
you can smell LA.
Yes, you
Like
can definitely
when I
smell
think back to LA, I still have moments where I'm like,
We just drove. Yeah, let's just keep driving out of town.
Yes,
And once we
yes.
get
we
far
like
enough,
roll up the windows for a little bit, and then they're like, okay, we can put it back down now.
Like, oh my god! But that drive though, we would have an hour drive from
Oh my
downtown to our
God.
Airbnb,
And
that like after a while, that drive was just turned into like. This just feels like we're going from KC to Mo West every fucking day.
Oh my God. But like we had the radio going, and we definitely like windows down.
Windows
it was
down.
beautiful.
Yeah,
so
and
we were like
we were out there in the
vibing.
summertime, so everything
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
I ended up getting sunburnt really bad for the first time, like extremely bad. We went on scooters. By the way, don't ever rent a scooter with this woman ever.
Oh,
She
no, don't do
not
that
not
to me.
even the bike. She can't even do the bike.
I can't. Well, I can't ride a regular bike. Fun fact.
That is
I
true.
don't. I
And
never
you did-
learned
and
how to
you
ride a
opened
bike.
up to me about that too.
I did. I was like, he was like, we'll rent like the birds, like the scooters. And I was like, just so you know. And he's like, well, we'll get you a bike. And I was like, Jarrell, I can't ride a bike. Like, I can't.
Like it's.
I can't. Like, I can skateboard, which I'm still, like, it's astonishing that I can do that and not bird. But I was getting so pissed that day,
There
too.
was so many like okay, so
I
it's
just kept
funny because
falling. Like,
when
I can't-
we rented the mopeds and the bird and all that, and we were like, the guy's like, all right, you got it for this long, you come back by this time.
And they were super cool about it.
They were super cool about it. Well, like we on the way back, we're trying to get back, and Raven can't get back.
I was like, it's not happening. Like, I will walk it all the way back down.
I go ahead just to like let them know, like, hey, they're right behind me. Like, here's mine. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you still gotta wait for them though. And I'm like, but
Yeah.
and they charged us, bro. Like, they showed up like 3 minutes later. They charged us. I was like,
I was so pissed.
so $75.
I tried
So-
so
Like, well,
hard.
y'all want to just go out for another hour? Like, no, we're done with this. We were all.
I
burnt from that
literally, I was
sun.
like, y'all can. I remember you guys were like, Ray, your shoulder is like.
You look a little burnt
I
there,
was like,
baby.
I was like, I am a burnt chicken nugget right now. Like, this is not good.
Oh my goodness! And then we what else happened in LA? We saw that couple's first date. Remember, we were partaking in party favors, and when we
Yes.
saw that couple, like
You said partaking in party.
I don't know
hate
how
you.
else to say it without like putting everyone's business out there. It's just
No,
like,
we were just indulging in
And
the benefits of legal things in LA.
being in LA.
It's
Exactly.
just nice.
But we saw this cute couple's first date, and like when you think about being in LA and you see that, you're like, wow, that was actually like a storybook moment.
Yeah.
And you could like frame that and picture.
I remember
that
us
and
sitting
all
there and
that.
we were like, what do you think they're saying right now? And like, I don't know if it's like the film people in us, but we were like
Acting it
talking and
out.
ad-libbing for them.
That is
and we were just
definitely
like
the
sitting there and we were like, oh, this is definitely going to go well. Because they were skating.
Yeah, they were
and,
putting
like,
on their
they were putting their skates on together.
And
'cause there's,
it
like,
was
a little
her.
air.
I'm pretty sure it was her first time, and he was starting.
Yes, and he
it
was like,
so
"Oh, you
cute.
just got a blah," and we were sitting there, and I was like, "Damn, I'm so single right now." But like, this is so, like, this is a moment. Like, we are in LA watching love for the first time. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen in
Anything
LA.
can
And
happen.
love can happen in LA, and it sure did. Oh my goodness. So do you see yourself? I mean, obviously, everyone's goal is to move.
Yeah, for
would
sure.
would you want to move?
Absolutely.
You think like that's like that has to be the move?
I think Kansas City would be so great as a spot for film if more people were dedicated in this area. I think this area is very much, it's not that it's like recreational, but it's very, I have to pay my bills.
Yeah.
So jobs come first and then film
And then
are
all the stuff-
hobbies. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
when you go to LA or Texas or
There's always a film going, or at least a music video going. That's
Yeah,
for damn sure.
but their mentality is, this is my job.
yeah,
Like, this is my job. And while, like, yes, I have a day job, obviously, like, I need to pay the bills. If someone asks me what I do, I don't say that job. I say I'm an actress, singer, songwriter. I choreograph too. Like, that is my job. So I think being here, for myself speaking, like I have a different mentality on it. Like I'm constantly getting updates on auditions where I can fly out to places, or like it's just in Kansas City. I think people are driven, but I don't.
It's
It could blow up, like it could.
and that's the thing, and that's why I'm on, because I was 1 foot out the door after like the stuff that went down in November. I was dead set on just packing up Vinny and going out there.
Well, yeah.
And then, but something told me, just stay, just sit, chill, stay.
Yeah.
Because that was literally last year, and we all talked about it. Like over the course of time, we've all talked about how last year was such a great year for freelancers, just in general. Everybody had a spectacular year, and then so we're thinking like, okay, if this happens again,
Yeah.
then sure enough, it's just going to keep happening, because
Yeah.
there's people who in the industry talking about how it hasn't been this busy in like the last. If you would have seen this 5 years ago, you would have been like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, yeah, and like people in LA were even saying that. They're like, yeah, Kansas City's up and coming. Like I
Yeah.
believe it if it stays consistent.
If it stays
Do you know what I
consistent,
mean?
and that-
Like I would love to stay here. Obviously, like my family's here, like the friends that I do have are here.
Right.
It's just it's
hard. It's hard. Like I trust me, being a producer, it's extremely hard, because when you hear about the films going on, you're like, oh shit, like I didn't know that. Like, well, of course you didn't know that, because like that person specifically, they're not that big, so you wouldn't hear. It's word of mouth to even get that job. You got to know this person and that person. Like Devontae's on a feature right now. And I remember, I didn't even, like I said, like, when did you get on it? How did you get on it? And then he told me about it. I was like, I don't want any
That's
part
the
of
thing
it.
with Kansas City. It really is like even music, like you have to know somebody.
You have to.
And like not that it's easier in LA or Texas or like Atlanta, but like it's everywhere there. Like it is everywhere. Like you specifically move there for those things, like for that type of lifestyle. So here it's unless you know somebody,
gotta know them, because if
like
you don't
then
know
you're not
them,
going to hear anything. Like
you're
you will not hear anything.
You'll end up working a normal job.
That's what I'm saying.
If you don't get out
like
there.
You'll be on Instagram and like you'll see someone's on a set and you're like, how the hell did
when did I miss that?
When did they even announce that they were doing that kind of a thing? When did they even hold auditions for that? Why wasn't it public? And it's because like it's not that we don't have big people here. It's just that it's not the same. Like
say it, it's not the same.
It's not. And like I hope that it blows up. Like I would love for that to happen.
I personally
think it might.
I personally think that within the next 5 years, I definitely think KC will blow up. And and that's saying, with all the commercials that have came through a lot more lately, I feel like only films only to follow at some point. Like there is a handful of people who already come here to film here specifically because they just love the location. They don't care about the money and all that. But it is hard. It is hard at the end of the day, because like I said, I was 1 foot out the door, and even then I could have moved to Texas too. I could have moved to Dallas.
I was about to say, when I went to take that trip, it was to see which place I felt more comfortable with, to know what my next goal was. Like that was the whole reason why I went to both places, because like I want to go and experience more opportunity, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I was like, where do I feel more at home? Because this is happening. Like I need to get out. Like I want to be around. But like the film community here is so tight. Like if you're in it, you know this person because you've worked with that person, and that person knows this person, and now you know both people, and well, that opens up doors to this. But like unless you're in that, like you're not going to hear anything.
Yeah.
Like
nope,
you're going to be left behind.
You're going to be left behind. You're not going to know anything. You're not. Yeah. Like you're out of the circle altogether.
I will say the one thing about Kansas City though is it's not cliquey.
Exactly.
Like,
we're not Atlanta or like especially Atlanta.
Because they'll protect their people, but if in a lot of cases, not all of them, I don't want to speak for everyone in LA or Texas or those big places, but it's more inclusive here because everyone knows what it's like to try and have to be in the position we're in. Like there, it is a luxury because everyone's doing it.
Right.
So it's one of those things like here, it's like, yeah, of course, like come on set. You should actually like link with this person. I know this, like this
is going on.
They would never link you with other people because it's automatically, they view you as like a threat in a way, or like here it's not versus anyone, or like, it's just, You're
It's
here.
it's
Like, you're here.
and it's like that on the sense of like the indie scale. I've
Yes.
noticed
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
there are times where I notice being when I production coordinate certain commercials that people do want who they want. There are certain times where it's like, oh, I want to hire X person. Well, how well does X person know how to do the job? Well,
Yeah.
like they do the job. That's why I want to hire them. Well, but this guy kind of really wants this person. Is that okay? And it's like, but they're not available. Could you ask again?
Well,
It's like, come on,
yeah.
how many wells are you gonna give me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous now.
Yeah.
And so when you find those people who like are grandfathered in, I guess, and are gatekeeping,
Yeah.
you definitely find that more in the commercial ad, and like well, just corporate, just in general. But like
Yeah.
with indie, it is kind of like word of mouth, and like when did those auditions get held and all that? Because like there's no one out there pushing that. They don't have a person
And that's what
pushing
I'm
that.
saying for acting wise. Like, I feel like it's different if you work behind the camera.
Yeah,
It's a lot
yeah,
easier
it's a
to
lot
find
easier.
work.
It's a lot easier.
But like, if you're not marketing your own film, it's really hard for people who act, even in the area, to know when you're having auditions, what you're
Yeah.
doing. So then the people that you are reaching out to are the people who are already following you.
Yeah.
So you're going to see the same people coming to auditions. Not a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, you would have more opportunity if you took the time to spread it out. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, if
100%.
you, oh, well, this person might know somebody, or like, oh, I know this person does act. Do they have other people? Well, we should post it to here, or like in this. I wish Kansas City too had like its own. I know like Facebook groups, but like really like Discords or like things.
Well, that's the thing too. There is so you have the KC Film Department.
Yeah.
And I know we have there's a whole directory on the KC Film Department with like crew and all that. But like and besides like going through agencies and all that and posting on Facebook, from the performance side of it and the actor side of it, there really isn't anything besides just agencies or what is it, Stage 32?
Yeah. Like the work that I get is through my agencies. Like
just
it's
specifically through your agencies.
Specifically. It's really I search, I look on like Facebook groups but it's really hard to just like find your own stuff nowadays cuz like
And that's what scared me about cuz like yes, Eve's right. I loved acting. That's what I wanted to do and that's what I started off doing because that's what I was pushed into.
Yeah.
And doing more and more research on like how do I get an agent or how do I need a manager? Well, how do I just get a job in general?
Yeah.
And when I got to KC and I tried to I auditioned once or twice for things, and just noticing the process on like what it takes to like not only get the director's approval, but you got to get that producer's approval, and not only that, the producer has to get the client's approval.
Yep.
And going just all that trickling down is like I don't know if I can. I can't do this. Like I can't fear every night on how am I going to eat.
That's what I'm saying. It's really hard because you can get all kinds of auditions too.
Yeah.
That are great, and then you'll get a callback, and you're like, hell yeah. So like there are certain days where I like set aside just for my callback days. So like you film all the different ones, you send them in, great, and then you could get like 1 yes out of 10. And so it's one of those like I like doing commercial stuff. Like it's not, but I love film. Like I want like a TV series
like,
or film.
I
Like
need to
I want a
act.
character. Like I want to tell a story.
Right.
Like that is the main thing. Like even dance, I started out learning from literally the age of 4.5, whenever I started dancing, that like you're telling a story. Like I grew up wanting to tell stories. And so like commercials are fun.
Have you wrote anything for yourself?
Like for character?
Yeah, just a character, just a spec spot, or just like a monologue, or just something to put you in front of the camera. Like that's what he's writing a mini series right now. That's just about him being a pizza boy, and he finds his money in an elevator. Like he's on one right now. He's definitely on it. Right. He's like, I want to act, so like I'm gonna write my own fucking mini series. I'm like, bro, all right, fuck it, let's do it.
So if we're being open and honest, I have written. I started the idea and like I have written a little series, yes.
Bum, bum, bum.
But I have literally not told anyone. So
Oh,
like
you
it
heard
is
it here
like
first. Man,
journal
we
and
do
like
get a lot of
I
scoops
know,
on filming
like,
in progress. I like
so
this.
I write my own music.
Right,
So
right.
like I like to tell my own story through that. Like the songs that have come out, like it's from a personal experience of mine that like I pulled from. But as far as like, yes, I have written and I had the idea about being able to tell my own story, but twisted in a way to where it's not like someone would know like, oh, it's
Oh
Raven
shit, that's
Reed.
right.
Like,
Well, and that's what I try to do with Amor Bassier, because obviously I wrote that like as I was going through a breakup,
yeah.
and
Tough.
like
And you were like, let me watch it
let me watch
for a whole weekend and relive it through you guys over and over and not be upset.
not
I was
be
like,
upset and not be
"Bro."
upset. And
Like,
so that's
what
why
are we doing?
and so that's why when I go back and watch it now, I'm like, oh
You said the
man,
feelings
it's
that I
like,
went through.
this is what was going on in my head.
Yeah.
Why, sir? I mean,
But it's coping.
it is coping.
Like even writing, like I think that's what people don't understand. Like people go watch movies, but like if you're not a creative or around creatives, I think people don't truly grasp that it's art.
Yeah.
Like it is you have to pull from something, like your own stories, hearing from a friend, like witnessing either how your parents raised you or the type of environments you were in, or your friend would come over and they tell you stories about their household. Like you are quite literally creating other human beings to act out certain emotions and situations for other people to enjoy, and not only enjoy, but they're going to connect to it.
Yeah.
Like somehow, like you are writing something that you know that at least
Somebody's gonna be able to
somebody in the
relate.
audience
Yeah.
is going to be able to be like, oh, like now it's like you're helping yourself cope while knowing that you're going to touch somebody else who will then do this. And maybe there's a trickle effect. Like I know in film it's really hard to touch on certain topics because people get so touchy and offended, especially nowadays.
Very-
Like, you know,
God, we can't film
uh,
anything
nothing.
nowadays.
But if we could touch on harder topics, like the real things that go into an abusive relationship, or things that go into even like abuse from parents or mental illnesses.
Toxic masculinity.
Yes, like anything of that, like having to go through finding yourself and what that's really like you see.
And finding
And
the different perspectives too. Inside
Yeah.
Of it, yeah.
And like you see at all those film festivals, the ones that are winning are the ones that are actual journeys.
Yeah.
That are raw. It's not like just the fun action like Marvel things, which I love Marvel movies. Don't even get me started. My dad owns a comic shop. Like I'm the biggest nerd you will ever meet. But I'm seeing like it's the raw stuff that
Fuck you,
people are
Scorsese.
finally like, no, but like it's like refreshing. Like it's like finally like we're not hiding from something. Like we are embracing, we're facing it, and like we're bringing attention to it so people can be like, did you see that one movie? Like that actually like starts discussions,
Right,
which then
no, it-
trickles down to other things, which then other directors or writers see it and they're like, that gives me an idea for this.
Yep.
And it's just like that. I watch certain things and it inspires me to want to be able to have certain roles, like one of the newest shows that came out, The Big Leap. Have you seen it?
Big lead. That's on is that on NBC?
Yeah, it's a dance, or I think is it FX? I can't remember. It's on just network television.
It's
Though.
on there. I've seen the trailer.
Oh my gosh. And it's about just like, it's beautiful. Like, and I would kill to be on a show like that. Like if you're ever casting too for that show, like I would kill to be on that kind of a show. But like like it's real life. And you're like, man, if I was on a show like that and got to like be a character that's like, I cry during that show.
Right.
And it's
right.
like, you want to just
No.
make people feel crap.
Yeah, you do. And that honestly, I think ever since Amor Bassier, I've started steering more towards comedies. I've noticed, and just because, well, like I've produced some dramas, but like I'm not interested in like directing or producing
Yeah.
dramas myself anymore. I've written them, sure, and I've written tons of treatments, but I'm just like, I don't want to do that right now. Like I'd rather stick to like some lighthearted shit, because like
Yeah.
that really put me in a dark place. And like
It's hard.
It's hard to pull yourself out of it
Yeah.
at the same time, because like you said, like you're watching it and then you got to watch it over the weekend, and then not only that, you got to let hundreds of other people watch
and then
this.
editing it,
And then
and
editing
then
it.
later if someone is asked you questions
When
about
someone critiques it, like when oh my
Yes.
god, so when Robert like started critiquing me on it, I was about to lose and like just completely have a full on meltdown, and I had to keep it together because it was like at the same as he was trying to like make these changes, and I was just like, it's not how the fucking breakup went.
and it's like it's almost like that's your baby.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it
you like
was.
when you create something, whether you act, write, produce, like direct, that is your
You
baby.
want to hold on to it as tight as possible.
Yeah,
and not-
you put your everything in that.
and that's when I really had to like finally give that up.
Yeah.
Of like, you know what? Fuck it. Put it out there. Everyone knows about it. I didn't even think she came to see it too. So that's when I was like, that's even more cool.
And you're sitting there. I remember we were sitting
Just
there. And
like,
you're like,
oh yeah, we were all yeah. That was something.
good times.
We always have a good time, and that's what we're trying to do now, moving on into the future. Is just
Yeah.
like keep things lighthearted, keep things fun.
Yeah.
Always keep people wanting more because I want to bring back more. Is not more okay. So I know there's like your base comedy of like Judd Apatow,
Yeah.
Nick Kroll, all those guys are doing. Like I love that. Honestly, I'm not saying like they're I'm not trying to knock them or anything like that. But like we don't see like your we don't see your good black comedies anymore. Like when Daddy Daycare was a thing, or yeah, exactly. Like
I was
it
like,
makes you
yes.
laugh. Dr. Do like Eddie Murphy movies back in like the early
Yeah.
2000s,
Yeah.
or like Martin Lawrence movies back in like the
That
early 90s.
script that I read, was that
Wayans.
yours?
That was JJ's, and like that. Yeah, like Last Temptations of Chris.
Yeah.
Like
That
I
was
want to
funny.
bring movies like that back to set instead of black movies that are only shown on BET. And
Yeah.
that have like, you know, this and that comedian in the third, but the only reason like it's getting play is because it has that comedian in
Yeah.
the third, and like that's the only thing that's going for it marketing wise. Like nothing else to it is original
Yeah.
or anything like that. So, and I was like, I've talked to all my little I talked to all the like creatives and DPs and directors and all like anybody of like diversity about that specifically, and they were all kind of like everybody on the team was pretty much in agreement. Like, yeah, like. I just noticed that too. So like,
It's just different,
It's
yeah.
different now. Movies are definitely different now. Because like the only black movies that like I see now, I feel like what was the last black movie I actually even saw? I'm sure I can name one, and it sucks that I can't right now. But like that's how often like you see a black film
Yeah.
come out that's like impactful, funny, at the same time.
I was about to say a lot of them are very serious.
A lot of things
like,
are serious
very
now.
dark,
Very
serious.
stereotypical now.
Yes.
I think, God damn it, what was the last? So I think it was 2018 or 19. It was Blind Spotting came out with Rafi Diggs and I forgot his homeboy, but he was the main guy. He was one of the lead guys in Hamilton.
Okay.
Curly head dude.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. He's fucking amazing.
So
He's in
good.
Snowpiercer. Yeah, shout out to that guy. Snowpiercer is actually a
and
good
I
show.
love that show.
Yeah, have you seen the movie? The movie's actually really good too.
I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, the movie has Chris Evans in it, and I watched the movie first, and then Johnny Stark told me that there was a show on it, and I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah,
and
I just
watched
started
it, and oh my god, it's just as good as the damn movie.
Really?
And yeah,
See, and
yeah.
that's impressive
Yeah.
because that's hard to
That's
do.
very hard to do. Oh god, that's very hard to fucking do, and
Yeah.
especially it being on like TNT, you're like, what are you gonna get? Like,
Yeah, we
Like,
know drama.
we know-
like, but do you?
Do you though? Like, what are we gonna get out of that? So I know you want to act more. I know you want to perform more.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that feeling that maybe you need to like step into the writing role or the directing role or like the choreography role and take a back seat to like the singing and the acting for a second, just to like, you know, let's go down this route and maybe that'll
Yeah.
open up more doors.
I think for me, what I've been focusing a lot on lately
Sorry, Mom, I'm in an interview right now.
is the music. Just because I finally got some confidence in it.
Heck
I've
yeah.
never been like a big, like everyone asked me if I could sing, and I always like sang in the shower and shit. But like
Right.
actual like singing, I remember it was Missouri Western where they were like, they made you audition for the musicals, like you had to if you were a theater and cinema major.
Yep.
So like I remember I went in and I sang for the first time, and it was like my first college like audition, and I was like, I'm gonna throw up, and I did it, and they were like, so you can sing. And I was like, no, because I can't even read sheet music, so no, I can't sing. And they were like, no, like we're offering you a singing scholarship, like you can sing. And I was like, oh shit, I can sing. Like, no, for real. I remember sitting in that moment, and I was like, they're not joking. Like,
Oh my
we haven't
God.
started laughing yet. Like, this is real. I can sing. Okay, cool. And then I just remember
Who was in the room?
I think it was T and Willenbrink, Bob Willenbrink, and yeah, and
A whole nother guy.
that whole department's a whole other brain.
Oh boy.
And then I remember I had talked to Jeff Stover. Love Jeff Stover.
Love Jeff. Shout out to
he's
Jeff
like
Stover.
dad.
Ball State. Yeah.
Love him.
Love that guy.
But I was like, Jeff, I can sing. And he was like, yeah, you're talented. What do you mean? And I was like, no, for real. Like, I was just majoring this because this is what I like to do. And he was like, no, like, you are supposed to be, like, on that stage. And, like, you're
That's
supposed to,
awesome.
like, do this. So I was like, oh my God.
yeah,
Like,
it's
it was a whole kind of, like, mental mind-blowing thing. So, like, the acting, because it's been so hard to find work, like, I've been just really focusing on the music, and I love it. Like, I love writing. Like, I like taking my own experiences and like putting it into like music that hopefully like people can relate to or feel something with. I haven't ever talked about the fact that I've like written stories. So
Like, yeah, like that's new to me because I don't know why you haven't like really opened up that more to, especially to me.
I
like,
know.
Like if you want something done and produced, you just call me and we'll
Like,
just get it done for you.
Yeah, literally. Well, and that's the thing too. It's harder because like not selfishly, but I write roles that I would want to be like play.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
So it's hard too to be like, so let me sell you on this. It's kind of like Sylvester Stallone, Rocky.
Yeah.
He's the one, like he wrote it. Like he wrote it. He went to hundreds of different people and they kept turning him down because they said, well, this is a great concept.
But we're gonna put somebody else in.
But
it.
we're gonna have somebody else. Like you're not an actor. Like you were homeless. You're not an actor. Like you can't do. He's like, no, I'm gonna fucking do this. And he waited. He waited until they finally did it, and it. Classic. Like classic. So it's one of those
still
like
making money off Rockies.
Yeah, honestly. Anytime.
He's set with just first four and Creed now, but he's literally set with the Rocky series.
He's
like
so
he's financially
too.
set. Oh yeah, Michael B. Jordan is extremely talented. Like I don't even idolize actors, and I don't even idolize him, but like I would love to be his stunt double. Like I will pack on the weight and be the. I will even like find a way to make myself shorter.
I was about to say, are you just gonna like cut off
the
your
knee.
legs, knees?
They're always just gonna have to shoot me ankles like from up on the.
For sure, for sure.
You can't shoot long shots or wide shots with him. You know he actually has to be there for that.
But yeah, so like unless you find someone that's willing to like help you tell a story that you want to like portray, like trust you enough as an actress, actress.
Right.
That's also a thought too, because like the only thing that I've really like branched off and like written has been something that like I would want to portray. Like I'd want that character.
And that's
selfishly,
and I feel like you should do that, especially like trying to learn and be creative because you want to watch movies that you like. So why not write characters that you like as well?
Yeah.
And like, you know what? I want to play a character like this. Fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and write it out and see what it feels like. But no, I don't know. I'm kind of mad that you haven't like even came to us about that. Like that's
I think it's always so I was blonde growing up. I dyed my hair black, but I was blonde growing up. So like I grew
5 different colors since I've known you. I feel like.
It's been a roller coaster of a ride.
I thought you were a brunette.
I dyed it brown after being blonde for forever. And then I went black. I know. I can't help it. I needed change. And now I'm finding myself. So now I'm sticking with this color.
We're back to rediscovering ourselves. I feel that.
But there was so many again, not poor me. I just got called stupid a lot growing up. Like a lot. It was an ongoing joke that oh, well, it's a good thing you're pretty. Oh, it's a good thing you're pretty. Oh, it's a good thing you can dance and act. So I think that's what the singing too. I never had the opportunity to give myself credit because I was so busy growing up being told oh, you're pretty. Oh, well, that's why your grades look like that. And really it was just because I didn't give two craps about math because I don't need it. And I mean, I need it, but I was I'm gonna act, sing, and dance. Like, why do I need to know the square root of 10?
Why do I need to
like,
know?
I don't like.
the-
I don't
the pie
understand.
and all
That's what I'm
this
saying.
bullshit.
And I remember it was one day in math class. Actually, this is when I was like, well, screw like education. We were learning like statistics and stuff, and the math teacher at the time, he said, okay, let's go around the room and you tell me what career you want, and we're actually as a class going to do the statistics of income and if that's actually like doable. Yes, I'm not even kidding.
I don't know if you should be doing that in front of.
He was a new teacher too.
Oh.
Like he was young. So this was also one of the first times I got sent to the principal's office. So I'll get there. He, of course I was first. He called my name and I was like, oh, well, I act and I dance. And he was like, yeah, but what do you want for a career? And I was like,
Boy.
I go, I'm going to act and I'm going to dance. And he was like, the likelihood. And I was like, you are a math teacher in Kansas City, Missouri. Like, please, please, please don't. And I remember in that moment, I had been, like I said, called stupid my whole life. Like, at least you're pretty, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he was like, there's no way that, like, you're going to be able to pull that off. And I was like, that's interesting. And, like, I remember I stood up in the middle of class and I just, like, I let him have it. And I got sent to the principal's office, obviously. And my principal was like, are you going to act and dance? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, then you're fine. Like, and he literally sent me back to class. He's like, I'm proud of you. Like, you need that determination in the industry you're about to go into.
Yeah.
Like, stand up for yourself. You've got it. High five, go have fun. And like, I walked back into class and he like thought I had gotten in trouble. And I remember I was like, he told me congrats because I'm going to be an actress. So let's look up the statistics and the salary if you make it into Hollywood. Like, I remember being so angry. It was so funny.
No, that.
So like, I never like gave myself credit enough to think that I could do anything other than like being handed it and told to portray it.
I feel that.
So
I feel that hard because I definitely had those moments growing up where I was not the brightest tool in the bunch, and you always get typecast. I'm saying typecast because fucking film life.
yeah,
You always get
stereotyped.
and it was like, oh, he's just gonna be another black male that isn't gonna even graduate high school, probably won't even get into middle school, and you know that's his life, and it's
Yeah.
and like that's why a lot.
Don't even think about college and going to film school.
Don't even
like,
think about that. Like, oh, you want to play football? Like that's the only thing you can do. Like I would just do that.
Yeah.
And that's why me and my mom actually butted heads a lot growing up, was because like she didn't want that for me, but like inadvertently she was hearing that from teachers, and I just didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so that's why she was a lot harder on me.
Yeah.
And now my mom's like my biggest fan, and she's like, I can't believe like you do this. Like that's
Yeah.
like still to this day, she's just always excited and always to hear like, when's the next job? Like, what are you doing next? Or like, oh well, if that
Yeah.
didn't work out, then it's okay. But like, what do you guys have going on personally? And like, she's always very interested, no matter what part of film I'm in or how big a scale it is. She's always very interested. I love my mom for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely down to support too. So that was my next question, was like, how is your support? You have a really good support system, right? With going to Texas, and like you have family there too, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
okay,
did.
Good.
So my dad owns a comic shop, and he has been on a part of multiple film companies. So he has produced indie films. He has written, he has gripped, he's done a lot of it. So I grew up in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I'm very fortunate. All families have issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
yeah.
my parents were never the don't go after your dreams type. Like, my parents fought harder for my dreams at certain points in my life, harder than I did, because I didn't have faith in myself, and my parents were the ones that were like, no, like, yes, you do. Like, you can do this, and you're going to do this. There's obviously been times where, like, you have the practical conversation, like, okay, Raven, like, after a while, like, is this practical? Like, we need to start thinking about, like, a big girl job and all this stuff. Like, you get into that. But I remember going to them and just saying, like, I need to go. Like, I need to go to Texas, and I need to go to LA, and I need to see if this is something that I am really, really, truly passionate about investing myself in before I go any further, because Kansas City can only show me so much.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
100%.
my parents actually bought my plane tickets. They were like, yes, and
Hell yeah.
here's this for you. So they've been great. I think as I've gotten older and how hard it's been to find work, the practical conversation like comes more into play. But growing up, like I said, in that environment, like my dad was always taking me on sets with him.
Right.
So at the age of 13, I was on a horror film set and I was helping with the makeup. Like I was getting to learn how to do sci-fi makeup. Like I
That's
was
awesome.
just a part of that. And I think that's why even when I act, I have never gone onto a set. Like I hate being called the talent. I hate it. No, seriously. Like fun fact, every time I go on a set and they call me the talent, it makes me uncomfortable. Like not in a bad way, but it's like I'm no different.
Right.
Like and
right.
I grew up being the grip and doing sci-fi makeup and helping with last looks and then like getting to stand behind the director and like see how things operate like at a very young age. So it's just it's cool. Like it's like, oh, I'm the talent. But then like you hear stories of people that are like diva, like they want certain things in their dressing room and I don't even go to my dressing room. Like you know this, when I'm on a set, I'm with y'all.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
I am helping move lights around if I can. If you say you want things done a certain way, I'm always asking like,
You're always
what can I do?
We're able to rely on you no matter what role you're in, and honestly, no matter how big the role is that you're in too. Like no matter if
Yeah.
you're just on set for a half a day or a day or 2-3 days, like you're always reliable, and I know, and that's why like
And there's been days where like I was only cast and like for 2 hours,
Right.
but I'm on the set all 3 days.
all 3 days.
Just
to
what
hang-
can I do? Like what can I? And
Yep.
it's not like a pat myself on the, but like that's just the type
you
of
should-
person you like.
you should pat
want
yourself on the back, though,
So
too.
like why not be that kind of person? So like I never. I never grew up like understanding the whole diva mentality. Like you hear stories and like people that finally hit fame and they're like, oh, you know, I need only this kind of drink and water in my room. And oh, I can only drink room temperature water because cold water is bad for your vocal cords and it's going to mess up my performance. Like no, seriously.
Yeah,
like
that's true, though.
In LA, like you heard that. And I was like, I need ice cold water.
I need an ice cold
like
drink right now.
Yes. Or the people that have to like lock themselves in a room and like listen to a certain kind of music to like get into character. Like I specifically remember talking about that with Jeff Stover once, right before I went on stage. Like I heard my cue and I was laughing and I had to go run on stage and like I was a Kit Kat dancer. So I had to be like literally like not a stripper, but one of those kinds of dancers in a burlesque club. And I was like,
Oh, cabaret.
Yes,
Yeah.
cabaret.
Oh my God, that was like one of the second best. That was second to Mice and Men, but like cabaret was absolutely by far the greatest show I saw at MWSU too.
That was my first ever collegiate show and I was one of the runners up for the leads and I think that's too what got like my confidence.
Right.
But like back to like I was laughing on stage or like with Jeff off stage. Like oh my God. And like I heard my cue and I just like walked on. And like
You were able to just drop it.
Yeah,
Just,
and then like walk back off and like I continue the conversation. Like it's just I understand the whole method acting, but I've never been I just don't understand like this
I don't
sometimes when
understand how
it
to be
takes
so method.
yeah, like and I've
So you're not like Denzel Washington, where like you have to get on set and you have to address like because Denzel, there's a story that or not a story or a rumor or whatever. Like I think it's actually like for sure because I think there's actually like articles about it. But like Denzel, you're required to call him his character's name like throughout the entire set of film
Yeah,
days
no.
of filming. It's like you can't call him Denzel. You have to call him whether he's Frank Lucas.
which
or
if that is your mentality, I respect it. Like if that's what you have to do as an actor,
Could you do
actress.
that?
No, absolutely not. Because I'm Raven. Like I am Raven Reed. And as soon as you call cut, like I can step out of that and step away
Right.
from it. And then like as soon as you're like, okay, like everyone's set. And like I think people forget too, like it's not just action. Like lights is like audio running, audio good,
Yeah.
like sound. So like you have a second to put yourself back in
it.
that.
Mhm.
And I don't know. And again, I'm not knocking it. Everyone's different, but that's why I don't even get like the diva mentality because I can just,
Everyone.
I don't know.
No,
It's
everyone
just-
is because like with High V, Yeah, I was. You guys, yeah.
He flipped the burger to Travis
I flipped
Kelce.
Burger Kelsey. Everyone's known about this. It wasn't even in the. I think it was in the first podcast too. But like Hy-Vee being principal talent after in getting that role too, that was the crazy part because like Sarah called me and was just like, "Hey, I want you to," because I thought she was calling me for a job because I was on this GHA job and I was like, "Oh man, my phone's blowing up. Like, I'm about to get work and more work." She's like, "Hey, I want you to like be in this Hy-Vee shoot." I'm like,
You said wait in front of
and,
the
like,
camera?
in front. And she was like, "Yeah, I want you to like we need a guy flipping burgers." Da, 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 da. And I'm just like, I mean, I've acted before. She's like, "Well, I showed them your picture on Facebook." Like, what picture did you show them on Facebook?
That's like the
Hold on
my
a sec.
what is my this is him picture? Have you seen that like going around?
No. Oh yeah.
It's like when they introduce me to somebody, like what's the picture you actually show them? I do want to know like what's my this is her picture.
I need to
but-
know what picture she showed them too. So
Yeah.
Sarah, like, you need to send me the picture that you showed them
Pull
to
up
even
your
get
Facebook
me in the
and
door.
start like
Just scroll, like,
This
which
is
is
him.
a good
This is
one?
him.
Oh, here's
Shut
one.
up, shut up.
And when she also was just like, yeah, there's I think there was people from Chicago, there was people from Casey, there was people from Minnesota,
Yeah.
all these actors, and she was like, yeah, you beat every single one. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how the hell did that happen? And then like, sure enough, you get to set. And you see your name at the top of the call sheet, and you're like getting fitted, and like they're putting
Yeah, it's
wardrobes on you,
different.
and like I'm like, Sharon, you don't have to. She's like, I have to do that because it's my job. I don't want to do it, but like I have to dab the no sweat on your forehead because I have to look like I'm working.
That's what I'm saying. It's so
It's so different. So there was an instant when I don't know which spot it was, but there was a spot where like I pull off the grill lid and all that, and I don't know if they even showed this, but I'm supposed to like go on with the spatula. Like I'm about to flip, and they had the flame like blast up on me because the flame was like always getting carried off by the grill lid, or it just wasn't high enough, and the flame like hit me, and I was like in it for a hot second, and eventually I was like, all right, I'm done. I was like, Jeff, you got me. I'm just laughing about it, coercing, and everybody's like all serious and like looking at me like, is he okay? Is he
like
about
is he
to
gonna
like?
freak out?
Is he about to sue the fucking
Is he about
company?
to-
Yes,
That's
like,
what I'm saying. And
every bit, all the extras were staring at me, and I felt the crew staring at
Yeah.
me, and I'm just laughing it off like, goddamn. Like Joe walks up to me, he's like, wipe your eyelashes off your face, and I'm like, damn, give me that.
That's what I'm saying. Like there has been times where I was on set and it was like combat scenes. Like I've done
Yeah.
a lot of combat stuff, and I'm not gonna name names, but I was with someone who wasn't properly trained. This was a Missouri Western situation.
Okay.
And I was acting in a scene with him, and he was like actually choking the shit out of me. Like
Oh, whoa.
yeah, like
I know what you're talking about
Yeah,
now.
sorry.
Now. Oh, wow.
but like dug it out.
I'm
But
about to
like
duck
there
that
was
all the way out.
but like, and it's not just that, but like there's been times where like and they just like wait, and it's like I'm not mad.
All right.
Like I know some people might be like, "Oh my god,"
Right,
but
right,
like I
right.
just, you've got to be empathetic. Like you've got to understand. And again, if you're not on the other side of things, I think like if I started out only acting,
Right.
and that is what I started out only, and I mean, I've worked with people and they were actresses. Like I am an actress. I show up at my call time. They make me look pretty, and then I leave. Like, which again, if that's how you act, I'm not knocking it. That's you. That's you. That's your choice. You're still going to get hired for certain things. Good for you.
Right.
But like, I just,
Can't do it.
I don't know how people do that. Like, I don't know.
Shit, are we still recording? I don't know if we're still recording. I know we're still recording audio.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we still got the audio, so it's
Okay.
cool. So wait, you said something that actually I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
Where were you just talking? You were
Combat.
combat.
Working with people not trained.
Yes.
Okay.
How often is that?
A lot.
Like, and how, like, what is, because you have to put in a certain, like, to be a performer and to perform with somebody else, you got to put in a certain amount of confidence in the person who's, like, running the show.
Absolutely.
And if that confidence isn't there,
Yeah.
like, that completely takes out of the performance, I'm assuming.
It does. Are we talking about just acting in general, or like physical combat, or like
Just acting let's just start with acting in general, because,
Okay.
like, it's all, yeah, let's just start with acting in general.
it is it is hard. I have worked with people who identified as method acting.
Mm-hmm.
So they did the whole like, I need to get in character. But then when the cameras were actually rolling,
There was no character there.
it wasn't. And so it's very like, what was all that for? No, and like no disrespect, but it's like, are you, I think it's the difference between if you're an actual actor, actress, and if you're acting as an actual actor, actress.
Okay.
So I think certain people, like, I overheard earlier you were talking about the directing side of things and how you were saying, or E said, a director kind of has to act as a director.
Right.
It's almost like certain people go on set and they act like an actor instead of just being an actor. Like you
don't have to. Yeah.
You don't have to do all that. Like you don't have to prove yourself. Like I've been on sets where we're sitting at a table and we're getting to know people and I'm asking about like, oh, what'd you eat for dinner? Like that's no, like seriously, like I want to know
those
you.
personal things.
Yeah,
exactly.
like I want to know you. And the only things people are giving me is like, oh, well, I worked on this project last month. Oh, I have this audition coming up. Like I know that you're an actor. Like you don't have to prove yourself. I know. Like
I want to know about you as a person.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. And I've gone on a lot of sets where that's the case. It's like I don't view myself as I'm an actress. Like I'm Raven. Mm-hmm. I like to tell stories. I like to sing. I like to bring things to life. But like I want to know you.
Right.
Like if I'm going onto a set, I want to make connections. Like and not work connections, but like connections that are like impactful. Like I want to meet people like this. This in itself is an experience. Like being on this set for me is going to be something that I carry with for the rest of my life. Aww. So I want to remember. No, but seriously, like I want to remember it. Like I want to remember the people that made that moment for me. Like I want to remember who was there, who helped me, who motivated me, who gave me good advice on the side. Like if you critique me acting, please do. Like I'm no Meryl Streep. Like I have room to grow. Like tell me. And so I think it's hard getting onto a set where people are either trained too much to where that's like their personality, or you get the people that aren't trained at all. So they're doing what they think is the right thing to do instead of just doing it.
Right.
Like you just do it.
No.
And so it's different. And like, yes, the stage combat is a whole lot harder if you're not trained, if you don't know what you're doing. And that is when it gets dangerous. I have been on multiple sets where I've had to do stage combat or things. Like there was once where they literally had me fall out of a tree. I'm not kidding. They had me slide down a tree and they were not prepared, but they told me to not worry about anything. And I quite literally... it was at the top of this balcony. Okay. So basically I have a twin sister. Okay. In this film.
The fuck? Oh, okay.
It's a film.
Okay.
So basically the first one, I'm one of the leads and I am one of the kids that gets killed. It's a horror one. And the second one, I am the twin sister coming back to figure out what the hell happened because my sister went missing and come back for revenge. So I'm like the badass version of who I was because I was like, the preppy, whatever, stereotypical horror
You're
film.
the darker version. Right,
yes.
Right.
So I come back. I'm quite literally on a cliff. I'm on a cliff area. And there is a tree. And they tell me to jump and slide down this tree. Because it was someone in like an all black suit. It's supposed to look like a shadow. The way they do effects. Come towards me. I jump and slide. They tell me not to worry about anything.
Oh hell no! That's when they tell you not to worry about anything. That's when you should worry about it.
Well, and like it was a professional set. Like it was professional. It was like an actual.
Right. It was a working set.
Yeah.
Right.
Like credited well, whatever, X, Y, and Z. But I remember like landing on the ground on my back. And, like, obviously the wind was knocked out of me. I just went down a fucking tree. And I just remember, and it was at night, too, mind you.
Fuck.
It was at night. And I just remember being like,
Was it cold?
Yeah, it was fucking cold. It was Kansas City.
What-
In what month was that we were doing? I think it was September.
Oh, fuck no.
So I was already, and my costume was just black skinny jeans and a black, like, wife beater tank top. Hair up. So my hair wasn't even covering my shoulders. Like, all of me exposed. And I had my black combat boots.
You were cold.
I was
It
cold.
was like 30, probably 40
I was
degrees. It
so cold. But I just remember being like, help. Like, no, like, in all seriousness. And I remember like getting up and they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm fine. And then like, I just was like all cut up and they were like, so we're going to have to do that take again.
Oh, hell no.
And I was like, I'm not a diva. I was like, I'm not a diva. I've never been that kind of person. I was like, listen, I think that's fine if and only if you put a mat at the bottom of this tree that you want me to fall off of. Like, what? Like, I don't understand.
You're supposed to film like the fall, like halfway.
Oh,
and then
no,
start
no,
back
no.
on the ground.
Yeah, no. What they did was from the top and then wanted a from the ground shot.
Yeah, they're backwards.
I was
I
like,
would have told somebody that personally.
well, you know, I was only like 14 at the time.
Man, I would
I
have
was
straight up been like,
fresh. I was fresh.
excuse me, this is ass backwards.
Well, and at the time too, I was just excited to have like a cool film opportunity.
Right.
So it's like that mentality too of like, I'm on a film set. Like I get my own scene. I'm a badass. Like
Not a
I'm
diva.
playing this like
I'm not a diva.
Yes, literally like I'm not a diva. And then they're like, fall off the tree. And I was like, hell yeah, whatever you need.
All right, Laura,
whatever
calm
you need. So what else? What
So we know
else do you want me to do?
We know Raven will do her own stunts.
I don't think I would ever be comfortable with having a stunt double no matter what it was.
I like that.
And in full
I'm gonna
honesty,
hold
like
you to that.
no, seriously, I've thought about it. Like I was watching the newest Spider-Man, which was beautiful by the way,
Beautiful.
so beautiful. And I was watching it and I was sitting there thinking, and then Tom Holland posted a picture of him and his stunt doubles, and I was like, again, no disrespect, your
Right.
contracts are different, whatever. Like anyone who chooses
After
that-
so many movies and so much time,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I need a double simply because I have a shoot here as well. and
yeah,
here
it's
as well.
different, which
Yeah.
like I respect. But if it comes to like, I would just so want to do it.
Like Tom Cruise will still do all his.
That's
own
what I'm
stunts.
saying.
So
He
it's like,
does.
fuck it.
He does all that. That is what I
Tom Brady
personally
still
would choose.
playing right now.
I don't even want to talk about Tom Brady. I'm a
like,
Tom Brady hater.
wow.
I think-
Look, I'm not a Tom Brady hater anymore. He moved over to. He even moved over to the NFC conference, and I'm not a hater, which I should be a bigger hater. But like, yeah. Fuck it.
Listen, I respect him in
There
a
you go.
way, but I feel like, and then you're gonna get political. But ever since like the whole cheating scandal even happened, and the fact that there was no repercussions, but like Tyreek Hill got fined because he was like waving around pom poms after getting a touchdown. You know what I mean? It's just like
I was talking to somebody about that, and I feel like the league, when they start finding these players, they need because I know Tyreek's fine. They said someone whoever matches or how many people match or whatever, they'll donate that to charity. But I feel like the league needs to start donating the players' fines to charity, no matter what.
No, I agree.
If you're gonna find these players
You gotta
tens
do
of
something with
$20,000
it.
dollars, don't just put it back in your pocket.
Well, and it's also like for really dumb things. Like he didn't.
He didn't disturb anybody.
And it
Oh my
wasn't,
God, we've
like,
been gone for,
offensive
an
to
hour,
the other
2 hours,
team.
bro.
Is that bad?
No, I was wondering how much camera time we got. This is fucking awesome.
Oh,
This is a
okay.
long episode.
But like,
Easy.
it wasn't anything offensive to the other team. He was just like excited, and it was like celebrating with the fans. It wasn't even
Exactly.
bragging in front
It's
of
like
the camera.
it's like the Lambeau Leap or something like that
That's what I'm
too.
saying.
So it's like
Yeah.
yeah, I know. All right. So I ask everybody this question before they leave.
Oh God, I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's not life or death.
I
I
got
promise. Where do you want to see film progress, or where do you want to see our industry progress?
Okay. I had this talk earlier, and I think I've actually told you this before, but I want it to progress by regressing in a way, in the sense that if you look at old films, I'm talking like Frank
The black and white,
Sinatra,
yeah.
like old Gene Kelly, Fred
Yeah.
Astaire, you had to do more than be a pretty face. Movies
were a lot of hard work back then.
movies were
We have it easy now.
That's what I'm saying. Like there was a dance number and a song in every movie, or it wasn't constituted as a movie. And like, I think like films like In the Heights.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, we went and saw that in L.A.
We
and
did.
we went to the Dolby Theater too.
Yeah,
That shit was
so
awesome. Yeah,
awesome.
that shit was fun. Then y'all watched it like 4 or 5 times throughout the rest of the week on HBO Max.
We
'Cause
did.
it released the same damn day. But hey, who
did.
cares?
It's okay.
That TV was small.
But I just wish that we did more. I feel like they give anyone a platform nowadays.
Yeah.
Anyone. Like, people who shouldn't have a platform some days, they give it to them. And I just wish that when someone was identified as a star, they were a star. Like,
Yeah.
and not like, oh, I have all 3, so I should. That's not what I'm saying, but like, I just wish that it was more than just acting. Like, I wish you had to be able to do a little bit of dance, and you got that like relief during a movie some days. Like, you got that song that connected it and brought out more emotion, because music brings out more emotion than anything.
And yeah, 100%,
Anything. Like,
100%.
a song could change a movie.
Yeah.
Like, Grey's Anatomy, great show, but it's only great really because the music that they pick in the background. Like,
Yeah.
hands down. So I just wish it was better by being like how it used to be. Like, we try so hard to all these effects and CGI and all these like action packed, but it's like, let's be wholesome. Like, let's go back to the roots of what started film, like what allowed us to call it a film.
I like that. I really do like that answer, actually, because
Thanks.
it never hurts to go backwards.
No,
It
and I
never
think
hurts to go
everything comes
backwards.
full circle at some point. Like, it
Exactly.
has to. So let's do that.
I
Like,
that.
let's have to dance. Let's have to sing a little. Like,
Let's
do-
live a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm gonna
breathe.
trademark that shirt. Let's live a little, even though it's probably already made somewhere.
I want at least 2%. No, 10%.
Oh my God! Well, thank you so much, Raven, for coming.
Thank
I appreciate it. I
you.
know we've been talking for like a hell of a long time, but
Long
like
time.
it's okay. It was
Flies
well
by.
worth it. I appreciate the conversation. It was an awesome
course.
conversation, and you have to come back and talk more too.
No, for sure.
You promise?
Yes, I promise.
Okay. And like, I'm gonna tell y'all too. By the next time we talk, if she hasn't let me produce anything, I'm gonna call her out too. I'm gonna
I
put
do.
her fully on blast.
I'll write more, and then like music videos, hopefully.
Yeah, we got music videos coming up. That's true. So yeah, we'll have that, and then E and her are gonna do some songwriting.
I don't know.
I might do some of that
Got a little
too.
something in the works.
So, well, thank you again so much.
Thank
Once again, y'all, this is Filming in Progress with my lovely guest, Raven Reed.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Peace.